We know social media can be a great thing, however, there are some negativity to it. Case in point, after Game 1, PK Subban scoring the overtime winner to help the Montreal Canadiens earn a 1-0 lead in their series with Boston. People took to Twitter, Boston fans, or claiming to be Boston fans, took to Twitter and uttered some racial comments towards PK Subban. Not the first time this has happened for Boston, but it did issue a statement immediately by Cam Neely and the organization saying we don't stand for this, we don't comply, this is not how we conduct ourselves. However, is this enough done, or is there enough done by Cam Neely saying, you know what, we have this, or should there be more of a proactive stance by Boston saying, we're going to try to find them, if these people are fans or so-called fans, we're going to make sure they're banned, et cetera, et cetera. Is there a way to do that, or can he do that?
I don't know if you can do that. PK Subban's the type that wears his heart on his sleeve. You're going to have lovers, you're going to have haters. It don't matter what you're in, what color, or what you do. I feel bad for the guy because he just wants to win. Cam Neely, he's covering Boston's behind. I don't think you can cover your fans behind, though. I think, yeah, you got to go after them and try stopping that. This is the 20th century. We aren't back in the 1800s of the, you got to, everybody's equal.
You know what, and it really irritates me about social media that there's no face to anything. Exactly. That you can go out in the social media, go on Twitter, go on pretty well anything, and really say whatever you want, and you know what? They're never going to find out who I am. And I really hate that. And that's one thing, Twitter and all that, and we've seen this so many times before, stupid stuff put on by players, by fans. It's very good at times, but it can be just horrific too.
And then they're apologizing after for what they've done. It's exactly it, no face.
So they live by the anonymity, and they all of a sudden will be as bold.
It's just gutless people that do that. It's gutless people that go out and say stuff like that, whether it be here in Lloyd or wherever, and they don't put a face, they don't put anything to it because they have no guts.
Exactly.
And if you want to say something and you want to be confronted about something, then put your name to it. If you don't put your name to it, don't talk.
Todd McLellan, probably one of the best coaches, arguably one of the best in the NHL, and his regular season record with the San Jose Sharks certainly proves that. One of the fast coaches to get to, I believe, was 500 wins.
Yeah.
So you can't, say that this guy does not have some pedigree. However, his teams in the playoffs have faltered. I don't know if they're folding under the weight of expectations or what have you, but it seems like McLellan will be on the way out. Does that seem fair, or should they actually say, you know what, maybe look at the core players and see which ones they should weed out?
Well, Doug Wilson did give him a vote of confidence, whether that means anything from your GM, because your owner makes the ultimate call. But when you win your first 3 and then you lose 4 straight, you can't win one of the next 4 games to win a series. I'm sorry, as much as I like Todd, he's a Saskatchewan boy. Somebody has to take the fall, and he's gonna have
Not
to take
players
it.
Though. You wouldn't say.
Well, how do you trade Thornton? How do you trade Thornton and Patrick Marleau, who both signed extensions, both signed no trade clauses in their contracts? I think there's something wrong in Joe's game. There's a reason why he got traded from Boston to San Jose, and Boston gave up on him pretty early. So they saw some kind of hole in his game that nobody else did.
But wouldn't that make you say, if you're an owner or a GM, maybe BJ, you could answer this, that, you know what, maybe it is the players. If McLellan's actually getting us the success we need during the regular season, why isn't it translating to the postseason? Maybe it's not necessarily the coach, it could be the players. And there have been several times and examples during TV timeouts when they showed Joe Thornton, he did not, I don't know, maybe it's just from my perspective of the way he looks on the outside, don't know him personally, but he didn't look like he was really, truly invested like some of the other players might have.
No emotion in the playoffs, it seems. I don't think McLellan should take the fall. I think some of those core players should be traded. Joe Thornton, has he ever made it past the Western Conference Final? Patrick Marleau, he's won Olympic gold, but they got a team full of winners. They're supposed to be leading, and to me, they aren't leading. They don't have the emotion to lead. They need someone new in there. I think McLellan should be there. He should be staying there. He does a heck of a job all season. I think he has the pedigree to win in the playoffs, but he just doesn't have the right team.
Maybe McLellan, if he does get fired, might have a job opportunity in Vancouver because it
Oh,
looks
Edmonton
like
would be the better
there
place.
you go. But John Tortorella
Yeah.
officially getting fired didn't fall into Trevor Linden's plans in terms of what they want that fresh start. So getting that nice $10 million buyout is not too bad, but he does want to coach. He seems like a guy who wants to be back in the NHL. Will he be back in the foreseeable future?
I say no. He's just a barking dog, an annoying barking dog. And I think his time in Tampa, his time in New York, time in Vancouver, I think it's pretty well par for the course in the NHL that he's done in this league, for at least for the time being. And not saying he's not going to be done coaching. He's going to probably land overseas. He's a big enough name that somebody in a European league is going to pay him a whole bunch of bucks, maybe in Russia like Mike Keenan's
Who
doing
won
right
a
now.
championship, by
Yeah,
the way.
exactly.
He won a championship.
So
there's still
Tortorella
time.
will
Still
land on
hope.
his feet somewhere, but I think most of the NHL is pretty tired of his act.
Greg took the words right out of his mouth. I think he's going to land up in the KHL. I don't think he's going to be back to NHL. Everybody, especially after his deal in Calgary, in the hallway, I just think it's so degrading to a team, and I think he's going to land up overseas somewhere. He's going to go there and hopefully he has success.
I think what for Tortorella's problem in the NHL is that he wants to be bigger than the players.
Yeah.
He wants to be the spotlight.
Big
He
man.
wants to be the big bad guy. And I think the Vancouver owners like that. They like that kind of rub shoulders of the guy that's a little controversial. Well, it didn't really work out for him.
Very quickly, NFL Draft this Thursday. Number 1 overall pick, Houston Texans take whom? Do you take Johnny Manziel? Do you take
I think
Jadeveon
they'll
Clowney?
take Manziel.
Do you think,
That's
for
who
what
I
reason?
think. Just because of his ratings, and that's honestly, I don't. It doesn't really bother me. I'm not an NFL watcher, but just the hype over him, I think that's who they'll take.
No, I don't think they'll take anything but Johnny Football. I think Johnny Football is in for a rude awakening on draft day. I think that the book is out on him, and I think there's questions whether or not he can play in the NFL, and I don't think he's going to go very early.
Right. When we return, we're going to have more Gloves Are Off, especially our favorite game, over under.